Donovan Martin in the comments right now says, what a twist. Very much so. I've got to say, I don't know exactly what this means. I've gotten a little bit of time to analyze, but I think we might all just be going through this together. So the headline right now, Will Smith has resigned from the Academy. So everyone that probably is just kind of catching up with what's going on right now, what was going on before. Will Smith, they were saying they opened up disciplinary action to decide what they were going to do. The Academy said they were going to look into what they were going to do. People were very upset because the Academy lied. It came out just like 2 days ago, or no, that was yesterday. The Academy turned out they had said they were going to expel Will Smith, but it then turned out that they had lied. They had not asked Will Smith to leave, which made them look like bigger fools than they already were. Buzz Aldrin said, I would make my own academy. Eventually, hopefully, we have enough money to do that. No, we do not, so we have to just use this YouTube channel. Okay, before going into what exactly this means, Will Smith has been expelled from the Academy. What exactly does that mean? Before going into that, what I was wanting to see from any type of decision was a level of accountability. Will Smith had gone up on stage. He had smacked someone during the most prestigious event in the filmmaking community. Everyone that is still watching at home, has some respect for movies. They want to see some type of celebration. Everyone that is still watching the Oscars right now is desperate for the old days where Hollywood just understands, look, we just want to be entertained. We just want to watch a show where we're all entertained. Everyone at home, we want to see something that is exciting enough that makes it so that we can justify having a type of party. We just want to see a good movie win Best Picture. That's it. Like, come on. It's going to be a 3-hour show. Just like, give us something, throw us a bone here. I understand it's always political. It's always got this stuff going on. We just want to celebrate movies to some degree. Just try a little bit. I feel like the bar is so low for the Oscars. And then this happens, and Will Smith smacks someone in the middle of the Academy. I think that what we are all really looking for, what I have been looking for in terms of a decision, is just some level of accountability. We just want something. Just do something that shows that you guys still care, because the more that nothing happens, the more it feels like there is no point to continue this. I have felt in the silence, in the radio silence from the Academy, making no decision about what to do about Will Smith, I am even more resigned. I'm not watching next year. It does not matter anymore. Look, if you guys at least pretended that this was still an important thing, it keeps the illusion up enough that I'll watch, but you don't. No one over at the Academy pretends that this matters anymore. If you're going to let someone that assaults someone on a stage still stay and accept an award, it's like, y'all aren't even trying. Y'all are not even trying. Why would I stick around the next year? So the hope was that at some point there would be some level of accountability, because at least it would show that the Academy still cares about this award. There's an assumption in that, though. And I think the assumption in that is that they are going to do everything. And I think this applies to Hollywood in general. They are going to do absolutely anything that they can to avoid any level of accountability. I don't remember who said it. It might have been Jim Carrey, who said what Hollywood does, they look to the left, they look to the right, they see what everyone wants them to do, and then they make a decision. No leadership at all. It is completely absent of leadership, and that is why we have this weird, like, pseudo-political machine that's making movies that no one really wants to see. Maybe we get 3 movies that are exciting a year, but it's very few and far between. So they don't actually know how to take leadership, take a stand on something, and they want to find the easiest way out. How can we find the easiest way out? And I think the hope is that don't find the easy way out. Just do what you have to do. Just hold someone accountable, please. And so we get this decision. Will Smith, and that's kind of the framework I'm coming to with this story. Will Smith then comes in and he says, okay, I'm going to resign from the Academy. I feel like at first you're kind of like, well, okay, he's taken the step. He's taken the honorable step. And I just don't believe that. I can't help but feel a bunch of people were saying that the actual slap was, oh, is this fake? Is this not fake? I feel like this decision, him stepping away from the Academy, I think this might actually be more fake than anything else. There's been a bunch of reports Will Smith has been on the phone with people over at the Academy and stuff like this. If I had to guess, they have been talking. They have been saying, look, we want, because the Academy is in deep shit too. The Academy is saying, look, we really want for you to come out of this looking good. You're Will Smith. We want you to come out of this looking good. We love stars. We love the A-listers. We want you to keep coming back. We don't want you to be tarnished in this. We don't want to be known as the show where you were tarnished in this. The Academy also, it came out that they were lying about the show. They didn't kick him out. They show that they don't really care about their own ceremony. So they need to save face too. They need to do something that makes it seem like, okay, the Academy's not terrible. So it's very clear. There needs to be something here in their perspective. The Academy can't look bad. Will Smith can't look bad. We can't have everyone looking bad. We got to do something here that makes everyone come out looking okay. So, I mean, just bear with me. Can you not see the Academy talking with Will Smith, being like, look, we need to come down hard on some decisions on you because you slapped the shit out of someone on stage. You got to be in trouble. So here's what we're going to do. Why don't you say that you're going to resign from the Academy? After you resign from the Academy, we're going to take the next 2 weeks. That kind of brings the pressure down a little bit. We're going to take the next 2 weeks and we're going to deliberate, let it cool down. And then after that, we're going to come out and we're going to say, hey, you're suspended for 2 years. Honestly, that's what I think is going to happen here. If that is what, and we're going to go in a second to the article. We're going to see what it is that this actually means. Will Smith has, resigned. What all does that mean? What I'm saying right now, I think if I had to guess, this is a play between Will Smith, between the Academy, to say, why don't we take some of the pressure off of you right now? Let's make it so that people aren't talking about this so much. If you kind of make a move that makes it seem like you really care and you're really sad and you feel really bad, then no one can say anything about you. The memes are going to cool down. No one's going to talk about it as much. And then the Academy can come out in a few days and be like, who cares? Because Will Smith's got a movie coming out. He's got a movie coming out on Apple TV. Apple TV just won a Best Oscar. So you know that they are wanting to grow the clout that they just earned. There's no way that Apple TV wants to kind of minimize what it is. Donovan Martin says, I don't know, it feels like you're thinking too much. Really? They have not done anything in the last 4 days. You don't think that the Academy's PR team and Will Smith's PR team are working around the clock to keep this, wound from bleeding out? I don't think maybe I'm talking it too much. Maybe I'm talking it up too much. I feel like maybe a simpler way to say it is Will Smith abdicates a little bit. Academy comes in, gives him a light sentence. I think that's what's going to happen. Maybe I'm talking it up too much, but let's look into see what that actually means. Let's look at the article. So it says, Will Smith resigns from the Academy over Chris Rock Oscars slap. So it says, Will Smith facing possible expulsion or suspension after he assaulted Chris Rock during last Sunday's Oscars telecast has instead resigned from the Academy of Motion Pictures, Arts, and Sciences. The move comes as the actor is embroiled in the gravest crisis of his career and as the organization behind the Academy Awards has struggled in its attempts to deal with the fallout from the altercation. In a statement, Smith called his actions shocking, painful, inexcusable, blah, 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 and said that he will accept any additional consequences that the Academy's Board of Governors deemed appropriate. See that right there. He is literally saying, come on, look, I'm bending the knee, cut my head off, and now this is the part of the movie wherever the, king has an overswell of grace and mercy, and it's like, well, we'll just slap your hand on the wrist. I mean, what? Will Smith says he's leaving the Academy, then they invite him back in. I mean, how tough is that to figure out? The list of those I have hurt, this is the quote, the list of those I have hurt is long and includes Chris, his family, many of my dear friends and loved ones, all those in attendance, and global audiences at home, Smith said. I betrayed the trust. I betrayed the trust of the Academy. I deprived other nominees and winners of their opportunity to celebrate and be celebrated for their extraordinary work. He says, I am heartbroken. Here's the thing that I feel weird about with all of this. All these written statements that he's doing. This is not a movie thing, but I'm just going to bring it up because I feel like it's kind of a correlation of what's going on. Do you remember when the only thing that we heard about a few weeks ago was the Joe Rogan thing? Like, that was all we heard about. And every single time some news came out, that guy came out with a video talking about what had happened, kind of addressing it, and then it killed everything. I really think that whoever Will Smith's PR team is underestimating the power of putting out an actual video statement. I feel like every time we see one of these written statements, we feel like we are reading something that has been written by 75 people in a back room where they're all talking about what do we have to address? Who does he have to talk about? How do we say this? Where does the adjective go? Where does this go? I feel like what we need to do, if we really, because I don't think this works, honestly, in terms of the public appeal, in terms of, okay, great, fine. They made a decision. They said something. What are we going to do now? I think in terms of everyone else's perception of this situation, Will Smith still looks like a fucking ass. Like, he still looks like a hard-headed, arrogant guy that got up there and made a fool of himself. And to say that, oh, we're just going to do a written statement feels like it's not actually addressing the problem of what's going on. I think he has to do something that's actually like a video. I think he has to actually look at everyone and be like, hey, I messed up. I made a mistake. But to do this whole, like, I'm going to write it down and I'm going to put it out on social media just is ridiculous. I don't think that that connects with people in any way. If anything, it pushes people away a little bit more, because it's like the classic thing in every football coach, every, athlete that's done something wrong, they always get out the notes app and they put something up there and it's like, oh, there's the notes app. There it is. Okay, well, they wrote it on their phone, so they must be sincere. The thing goes on. It says, I want to put the focus back on those who deserve attention for their achievements and allow the Academy to get back to the incredible work it does to support creative and artistry in film. Like, okay, that doesn't do anything. He stated, concluding with, change takes time, and I am committed to doing the work to ensure that I never again allow violence to overtake reason. All of this just all sounds like bullshit. I'm not even going to talk about it. Like, that all just sounds like complete bullshit. Okay. Moving on. It says, oh, Chris Rock he made a joke about her and she was bald and it was sad and we all cried. After initially offering up a statement that said it did not condone violence, the Academy followed up with 2 subsequent statements that, criticized Smith. That's all it's saying. I honestly think this is a PR play. I think that their hope is that right now there's a lot of talk on social media. There's a lot of talk about we need it to die down. We really need for people to just not talk about this so much, so that we're able to make a very slap on the wrist type of announcement that allows Will Smith to come back. The reason that I think that that is a very bad idea is that Hollywood has clearly alienated most of America. Most of America thinks that Hollywood is a complete and total joke, and I think that that is well-founded. They are. They're in a large part a huge joke. This channel really is about celebrating movies. That's the slogan of the channel is love movies, hate Hollywood. Hollywood is so annoying, and they're kind of poisoning the output of good movies that are coming out. I feel like this is a rare opportunity to be able to really, like in the movie, there's like the monster, and the monster has one weakness. Like the monster kind of like roars at a certain point or makes like one certain motion and it exposes like the part of them that has to be stabbed. Like this feels like the one moment where it's like, if social media pressure pressed Hollywood on this issue, I think it would make a very huge impact, because this is like, you are not going to get this opportunity again where something happens so dead-faced on the biggest Hollywood stage that is an embarrassment that kind of gets at the heart of everything that's wrong with Hollywood. I think people need to continue. If you're annoyed with Hollywood, I think it is a good idea to continue to push on Hollywood to address what is going on here, give an actual consequence. I think what we're seeing here is them doing the PR spin to, just let's make this be as easy as possible. Will Smith, step back a little bit from the Academy. Then nothing's really going to happen to you. At that point, we'll invite you back in about a month, and we'll give you maybe like a year off. You got to go make your movie for 2 years, and then you'll come back. You'll be fine. We'll all forget it. The memes will die down. The American people have the attention span of a gnat. Like, that's the way that they think about everyone. And I think that's a shame. We'll see how it works. Maybe not. Maybe Donovan Martin is right. Maybe I'm overthinking this. Maybe this is a good step on Will Smith's part. I'm a huge fan of Will Smith. I grew up with all the Men in Black movies. I loved Hitch growing up. I was a huge fan of Hitch. I was like 7 years old whenever Shark Tale came out. I love Will Smith. I would love for Will Smith to do something that kind of gets the public back on his side. I don't think that it is in these PR written statements. Like it feels like what we're watching here is kind of behind the scenes mechanics taking place. This does not feel sincere in any way, shape, or form. That's kind of what's annoying about it. It feels like there's just no sincerity here. I would love if there was some sincerity. I would love if they did something that showed that they have some level of character. Thank you for the live stream, Critic. Stay fresh. Thank you, Fuzz Aldrin. Thank you very much. Everyone's watching also. We got a Patreon that we just started. I'll put the link in the description later. But yeah, $5 a month supports some of the back channel content that we put up every single Friday. The whole thing's a real shame. I mean, I wish it hadn't happened, but I'm also kind of glad that it did happen, because there's so many people that I think need to realize that Hollywood, everyone knows Hollywood is fake, but this really feels like the family that has to take care of a real issue, like that you actually have a real issue in front of you. So let's test it. Can you deal with something? Can you actually deal with a real issue? Or are you just going to let it fall by the wayside? Are you going to be as fake as you are about everything else and let it fall by the wayside? I wish that they wouldn't. I wish that they would step up and they would. But so essentially, what is going to happen to Will Smith now that he's stepped back, now that he has said that he's not going to be part of the Academy anymore? essentially right now he's not able to really do anything. He's not going to go to any of the Oscar ceremonies. He's not going to be allowed to accept any awards, anything that he works on. I honestly don't know if that affects any of the stances with the union. I don't know. I don't think it does with any of the SAG. I don't know how this affects SAG at all. So one of the later videos I'll talk about that. I'll figure that out. But right now he has crippled himself. He's kind of taken the knee. And I think he's put all of the power back on the Academy to say what the consequence is going to be. Is it going to be a tough consequence? I think that they're going to take a coward's way out and let him back in. And then at that point, it'll be up to the public. Do they accept him back or do they not accept him back? And I think the biggest thing to look at is this movie that he's already scheduled to come out with Apple TV. It's I forget the name of the movie. I know it's a slavery movie with Apple TV. It'll be interesting to see here in the coming months what happens with that. Chris Rock has been doing some shows around the country, and people in the show, they just scream out F Will Smith. And I'm curious to see what is y'all's actual opinion of Will Smith now? Is Will Smith bankable? And that's something that Will Smith always talks about, that he loves being number one. He said in an interview 3 years ago, one of those actor roundtables, he said that for him, the correlation between him having a good life is that he has to be box office. He has to be number one at the box office, and that means he's going to have a good life. Fuzzologist says Will Smith is the greatest of all time, no matter what. He's a very good actor. He's a very good actor. I think the only person that's above him in terms of being a bankable star is Tom Cruise. And then after Will Smith, there is a chasm there. I feel like if Will Smith kind of takes this, they continually say, no, you're out. He goes away for a long time. He might need to go away from a long time. This might be one of those things where, like a John Travolta thing. You go away for a very long time, and then you come back and you do something great. That might be the way that he's able to kind of save face to a degree. I honestly don't know how it's going to go. The only thing that I hope is that they don't take the coward's way out. If the Academy comes back with a very harsh sentence for him, then I'll be happy about that, because it will feel like they're actually trying to address something in a way that feels serious. Other than that, I think it'd be a shame if they do anything less than that. I feel like they should just uphold him leaving. They should say, if you want to come back, we'll renegotiate that in about 5 years or something like that. But for Will Smith Fuzz Aldrin says, imagine Will Smith in a Quentin Tarantino movie. Well, he was going to be in Django, and he said he turned that down because he wants to be in movies that are about the power of love instead of about hate and revenge. Will Smith literally didn't want to be in the Tarantino movie because he didn't want to put forward a product that was about seeking revenge. And that's the other thing. I don't know if people are going to accept him back, because this was so hateful. The look, I'm sure you're going to see it here within the next 45 minutes from this stream ending. The video is everywhere. The look on his face, the anger on his face when he was shouting that, keep my wife's name out of your fucking mouth, was so hateful. If you've ever think back to the time that you saw, the first time you saw an adult get angry. Angry. That's what this is like. This is exactly what that's like. I heard someone say that if you're Chris Rock up there, the only thing anyone else could feel is equivalent to that is if you are getting married, someone gets up, walks up to you, slaps you across the face, and then tells you to shut the fuck up. It is totally humiliating. It felt like a cowardly act by someone filled with arrogance. And honestly, there needs to be a balance. In everything, there's a balance. I feel like we need that. That is such an intensely angry moment that we saw. And that's something you can't take back. We always talk about how we want to see something great on screen. We want the Oscars to be great. We want movies to be great. We want TV shows to be great. We want to feel something that feels real. That was real. That was real. Seeing that moment, that was pure, stripped away, nothing else, pure emotions. That was pure anger that we saw on that screen. And people say, well, let's just move on. Let's just move right on. It's what are you talking about? That was the first. There's something going on here. We saw something very angry. We saw something very raw, very angry. We need to, that's what everyone's been doing. Everyone has been, and it's not tabloid, it's not armchair psychologists looking into what's going on. There was severe anger in that one moment. And people have been trying to figure out what made someone that angry? What made someone that angry that they were willing to get up on stage and they were willing to beat someone else in front of what they knew were over 10 million people watching them? This is not about Will Smith, Chris Rock. This is not about, millionaire. This is about someone was able to become, so there is someone up there that is going through a time so terrible that they were perfectly fine getting up and hitting another person on live TV before they were about to reach the peak of their career. They were willing to risk it all. They were willing, and we all know that Will Smith has been working for years and years and years and years and years to get that Oscar. And a few minutes before he gets that, he was willing to throw his career down the toilet. He was willing to throw it all away. That's a rare thing to do. That does not just happen. That is not something. It's been less than a week. People are going, no more talking about this. We can't talk about this anymore. That makes no sense to say that we can't talk about this anymore, because we witnessed something that really was a phenomenon. This is not about Hollywood. This is not about blah, blah, blah. This is about someone that has been pushed to the brink. And I really think that there has to be, and that's why it stuck around so long, is essentially what I'm saying. That is why people are so invested in what the shit just happened. And it was so offensive to everyone there. Like literally the viewers jumped up. The viewers skyrocketed 3 minutes after that happened, because everyone knew, oh, shit is actually going down here. We got to watch it. No one cared. Everyone that had been working there. And you know what? If you don't like Hollywood, screw you for this 1 second, because people work very hard to get up to that stage. People sacrifice everything in their life to get up to that stage. And that one moment killed it for everyone. I haven't even done a video. I haven't done one video about any of the other winners, because honestly, whenever I make any video for this channel, it's really like, is it something that is like, am I invested in it in any way at all right now? And I haven't been, because we saw something so angry in that moment. I don't think there's been another thing like even in sports, you kind of allow a certain level. Watching the Super Bowl, I'm originally from Louisiana, so I'm an LSU fan. They're very enthusiastic. Those players are very enthusiastic. You see a lot of emotions on that field. But when it comes to real anger, real emotions that you see on TV, that was one of the angriest things that I can remember ever seeing. And so on that one side, you've got something that bitter, something that cruel, something that mad. And then on the other side, you're not going to match it with any kind of punishment. And I think that is kind of what's at the bottom of why it's stuck around for so long. I think that is at the bottom of why people are so invested. And because it's Hollywood, because it's a part of our world that we know is so fake. Hollywood is so fake. I've watched the Oscars every single year since I was like 12 years old. I keep going back because I want it to be better. And it keeps getting worse, and I feel like a fool for keep going back. But I want it to be a little bit better. But the Oscars continue to get more and more and more foolish. And you see something like this, and you're like, again, someone who's been trying to, give the benefit of the doubt to the industry for years and years and years, you go, this is so foolish. This is so foolish. This is literally the straw there has been a straw that now broke the camel's back, and there is now nothing here that anyone cares about. There is nothing here to care about. There's nothing here to take seriously, because no one here is taking anything seriously. And that's what I'm saying. Like there's so much. It feels like there is so much crap. You just sitting in kerosene. And this was the one thing that lit the match. And there's nothing on the other side in terms of a consequence. There's nothing so far. There is, and that's why I think that I've said in a few other videos that I think that this is going to be the thing that kills the Oscars. This is the thing that I think if there's going to be a moment that 5 years from now, people are like, yeah, no, the Oscars. And I'm sure there'll be another thing that people say that, oh, that was the thing that caused that. It'll be, they were trying to come back. We had the pandemic. It was a weird kind of 18 months. They tried to do better, blah, blah, blah. And then Will Smith smacked the shit out of Chris Rock on the stage, and no one gave a shit after that. It meant nothing to anyone after that. And that's why right now it feels like there has to be, if they want to turn it around right now, they have to do something serious. Will Smith, I think, in terms of this announcement, has pretty much said, I'm going to step away for a second. And I think now the question is he stepping away so that he can kind of be invited back in a very easy way, kind of giving them a way to say oh, who cares? If you've got the drunk family member at the party and they kind of throw a glass, you're like, I'm going to back out. I'm going to go, everyone. I'm good. But then everyone's like, oh, no. Come on, you stay. It doesn't matter. It's going to be perfectly fine. It's that type of dynamic. Is that what's going to go on? Or is this a moment of sincerity? I think that's kind of what people that care, people that want Hollywood to be something better than what it is. They want to see something that feels like sincerity, really, something do something that feels sincere, for God's sakes, because everything is so fake. And I know that Hollywood is supposed to be fake, but at some point you want to believe that someone over there has character. Like, that's why Jim Carrey was so right whenever he made that comment. Like, everyone stood up, everyone saw someone commit assault, and then everyone stood up and gave him a round of applause. Like, if you had any character, that whole room would be dead silent. That whole room should be dead silent whenever something like that happens. Fuzz Aldrin says, last time I felt like this was when O.J. Simpson was in the highway chase. I remember watching I watched a 30 for 30 about the O.J. Simpson chase. I was born in 96. So I don't remember that happening, but I've heard people talk about that moment. And it honestly, yeah, this has felt like there's been a huge shift. I've even seen a lot of people that don't watch movies, don't watch TV shows, say that this felt like something has changed. And I still don't quite know what it is. That's why I don't trust the people that say we just need to move on, talk about something else, because something did happen here. And it's far beyond the Oscars and a celebrity and, a millionaire slapping a millionaire. This is honestly pointing at something that's very bad in the culture. I'm not totally sure what it is, but there's no way that an industry and an award show that is as ignored as the Oscars gets attention with something like this and mean nothing. It does not mean nothing. Fuzz Aldrin says, this is a moment Will Smith can take over. He doesn't need Hollywood. That's another very good point. He could go to Atlanta. That was one thing I was thinking. He could go, and I think LA is set for that. Like, LA is a trash bin. It is a burning trash heap. Like, the homelessness problem over there is disastrous. It literally feels like a third world country. But we have got hubs in the Northeast. We've got hubs in the South. Atlanta has got a great production hub. This could very well be a moment. Like, Will Smith is a fantastic producer. If he wanted to kind of get out of the system, go somewhere else, create something new somewhere else, it's going to happen. Or not even create something new, just kind of take advantage of the fact that you can go somewhere and do something else. You don't have to stay in Hollywood. People don't have to stay in Hollywood. That's a very good point, Fuzz Aldrin. Well, honestly, that's kind of all the dissection that I think can go with this topic right now. BB Bean says, I remember 1996. I think the number one song on the chart that year was the Macarena. So that is my song. Fuzz Aldrin, I would take Tyler Perry and Denzel and Their Own. I would take Tyler Perry and Denzel, and that's the thing. There is so much talent that I feel like you can tell Tyler Perry is one. I mean, he left and built his own thing. You've got Denzel Washington. There are so many people in Hollywood that you can tell. I was talking to someone today about Craig Zoller, the person who made Bone Tomahawk, the person who made Dragged Across Concrete. There are so many people in Hollywood that you can tell are fed up. They are fed up with the walking on eggshells all the time, the lack of creative freedom, having to walk a very straight path. I think that there are people that want to get out. They want to do something different. And so that is a good point. I think Will Smith, if he wanted to, could go on. He could do something else. BB Bean says, what do you think should happen to Will Smith, or what should happen to Will? I think that if we're talking about saving the integrity of the Academy, if that's something people want to do, the Academy needs to kick him out. I think if it would be the best thing for Will, honestly, what they should have done, the best scenario from the beginning of this would have been Will Smith smacks Chris Rock. They tell him, okay, you got to get out. He leaves. The Williams sisters get up there, accept the award. They thank their father for all the inspiration, thank the production team. Afterwards, Will Smith goes, not seen at the freaking after party. He goes, does some reconciliation with Chris Rock, gets an image of them together, goes back, does a video apology the next day. This is all done. We're done with this. There's no point. It's not funny anymore. They did all of it's gotten too gushy at that point. But the way that it went, the way we are now, the Academy 2 days later, like at the most 2 days later, says that he's expelled for whatever period of time. Even do a year is better than what they're doing now. This is the worst thing that could happen. I think he needs to be kicked out of the Academy for some timeline, something that feels real, something like 5 years. For 5 years, Will Smith, anything you produce, go ahead, do it in Hollywood. You can't get an award. You're not coming to any events. You're not going to have access to all the perks that everyone here loves having whenever you become an elite. You got to go away. You're not part of the club right now. Work in town, but work in town because you love the work. Prove to us that you want to be here, and you're not just doing it because you want to be an elite. I think you say 5 years at the minimum, Will Smith, you're not in the Academy. I think that would be the best thing to do. Ty Ranger, what about a man standing up for his wife? I love that. I love that. And honestly, I think there is a certain level of sympathy with the idea, Someone says something about your significant other, your spouse, you're going to get up there and you're going to defend their honor. You're going to make sure that no one says anything about them that is going to hurt them in any way, shape, or form. I would say, even if this was something, if this is something we find out that Jada Pinkett Smith has got cancer, he gets up there and slaps her, I think bravo. Like 100%, absolutely. People say, oh, absolutely ridiculous. It's like the woman is going through cancer. What is going on? Are you so pig-headed that you can't accept the fact that he was going to defend his wife who was dealing with a severe illness? That's not what's going on, though. I understand what you mean, Ty Ranger, whenever you say that. What about a man's, defending his wife? That makes complete sense. And if this was cancer, then I would be saying, look, maybe Will Smith shouldn't have done that, but also we got to give this man a pass. That is not what is going on here. Will Smith was not defending his wife who had cancer. Will Smith and his wife are very famous actors. They're very, very famous in Hollywood. Whenever you go to the Academy Awards, you are going there to be roasted. Everyone that attends that show, when they walk in that door, when they sit down, they are acknowledging that they are fully part of what this show is, and that is a roast. You are coming there, and especially those sitting in the front row. They were sitting in the front seat. People that come and sit in that auditorium, they are fair game. They're absolutely fair game. The Oscars have been going on before Anthony Hopkins was even born. Everyone knows what the rules are of the game there. Okay. Chris Rock made a joke comparing Jada Pinkett Smith to another beautiful, beautiful woman. And you're going to tell me that warrants him getting up and smacking another person across the face? This isn't look, we're not talking about backstage. We're not talking about a comedy club in West LA. We are talking about a live broadcast that is meant to celebrate everybody that is nominated in that room for the achievements across the entire industry. That is not defense. First of all, there was nothing done that attacked your wife at the level of what you just did. If you wanted to maybe scream something at him, maybe. If you wanted to get up during his speech and say, look, nobody talks about my wife like that because that woman is more beautiful than Demi Moore in any movie, then hey, round of applause is part of what you're saying. That makes perfect sense too. But actually laying hands on someone because a comedian told a joke, what were you protecting your wife from? What were you protecting your wife from? You humiliated yourself. You humiliated her. You put all of your income in jeopardy. You're not protecting your wife and your kids. We're all questioning whether or not you have a career. What he did not protect anyone from anything at all. I do not think heat of the moment. I hear that too. That moment was not heated. He was making a joke about Javier Bardem and Penelope Cruz, about how Penelope Cruz was going to give Javier Bardem a tough time because they were both nominated. He said if Penelope Cruz loses, there's no way Javier Bardem can win, pretty much insinuating that Penelope Cruz is going to be an asshole to her husband because she didn't win an award. And then he looks at Jada Pinkett Smith, who, by the way, remember, they are co-workers. They worked on that Madagascar movie, like 3 Madagascar movies. They're co-workers. They know each other. He makes a joke about the fact that he looks like G.I. Jane, and that requires someone to get smacked across the face. That is not, I'm sorry, I don't think that is warranting anybody to have to protect anybody from anything. That's not scary. That's not offensive. That's not, you're sitting in the front row of the most prestigious award show that happens every single year. I don't think you need protection from a joke. I don't think that's what's going on here. So no, people, and I've heard that before. I understand the sentiment that's kind of behind that. If we were talking about different circumstances, if he made like a direct comment about someone who is suffering from cancer and then that happened, maybe so, but that's not what's going on here. That's not what's going on here. That's not what happened. Is Will's resignation permanent? Will's resignation is not permanent. So he left. A lot of people have left the Academy this year because of all the changes they made. Look, that's the thing that kind of makes this different. If the Academy wants to welcome him back, they'll welcome him back. He doesn't have to be gone. If he wants to come back, if they want to say, Will Smith, we welcome you back, they can welcome him back tomorrow. They could invite him back right now if they want to, and he can come back in. This is not a permanent thing in any way, shape, or form. Someone says defending does not equal violence. That's the thing that makes it very tough. It's that if someone says something to you, if someone has to say something so egregious, it has to be so egregious that your response to what they say is warranted of being physical. Like someone has to like disrespect your mother, your children, your wife. It has to be a direct and immediate threat. And especially if we're doing this on live TV, it's got to be something so vile. It's got to be something so mean-spirited, so threatening in the moment that you have to get up. You have, like, no one else can stand you sitting down and not letting that go without some type of physical altercation. But what we're talking about here, I didn't even notice the joke was going on. That joke was so, it wasn't even a good joke. It was kind of a boring, whatever. Okay, I made a joke about G.I. Jane. It's not really funny because G.I. Jane's like cool. Like, why is she rolling her eyes? What's going on here? Tiffany Owen says, I'm sure. Oh, sorry. No, BB Bean says, Will is famous. Jada, not as much. Hey, look, Jada is not as famous, but she's tied to Will Smith. Everyone knows who Jada Pinkett Smith is, blah, 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 kind of because, hey, whatever. She's sitting in the front row. She's making a lot of money. She's got the red table talk thing. I don't think she's that good in anything she's in. She's not really memorable in any way. But, hey, I also don't think that even if she was a nobody, there's no way anyone needs to be smacked on live TV. BB Bean says, G.I. Jane was a boss. G.I. Jane 2 is a compliment. Look, if you really want to do something good about this, you freaking pivot. Make it so that you do none of this shit that you did. The next day, you announce that you're kind of considering options for G.I. Jane 2. Get your wife out there. It'd be great. Spin it as, like, you could have spun this so many ways to your advantage. Why would you smack someone? Why would you do that? What is the benefit here? What did he do that was so heated that we had to... The jokes that Ricky Gervais made at the Golden Globes, did any of those warrant, is there any moment in any of the jokes that Ricky Gervais made at the Golden Globes that you think someone should have gone up there and smacked him across the face? Whenever he made the joke about Mel Gibson being an anti-Semite and a drunk, and he kind of announced Mel Gibson coming on stage, should Mel Gibson have smacked him across the face? You've got a literal comedian there. You are literally paying someone to come to this event and make jokes about everyone in the room. And you're saying that you think that because they do that, they need to actually be smacked across the face in live TV and that should be applauded as a good. I don't see that. I don't see how that works. Then someone says, yeah, I thought the joke was fine. Jada looked great with the super short hair. That's the other thing. She doesn't look bad. No one thinks that she looks bad. G.I. Jane, you're not protecting anyone from anything because that joke was nothing. If you slap someone at your job, you're immediately fired. I know a consultant that was kind of doing a live stream based on that. Like, this is literally someone was literally doing their job. Someone is being paid to come on stage to facilitate an actual event, and they were harassed in front of everyone. Like, I think that's a part that's been overlooked. The fact that Chris Rock did not press charges is actually quite magnanimous. That's a very big deal that someone that was assaulted at their own workplace did not file charges, because that's a very strange thing. Imagine if that happened in any minor office in America. You know that people are going to be pressing charges. Fair call. Let's see. Someone says, exactly, you can't go around hitting people. Look, I think there's a situation where if she was dealing with a severe illness, slap him. If he called someone a word so vile that everyone at home is aghast that he said it, go up there and slap him. Look, I'm even going to say this. If we got a story that Will Smith saw Chris Rock at the after party and slapped him, then slap him. But, like, wait until you're not. The fact that you're able to show us all that, it's like, I'm sure everyone knows someone who has gotten that angry before. And part of what's so offensive about it is that they literally didn't care about everyone that was around them. They were literally able to do that in front of everyone. And that, like, the level of there's a difference between showing anger in front of a room full of people and showing it to one person in a private setting. Like, there's a huge difference there. If you're going to do it, then do it in a private setting. Don't do it in front of everyone, because that changes everything. Then someone says, come on, weren't you taught the sticks and stones saying? Exactly. Yeah. Sticks and stones may break my bones, even if my wife has no hair. Tiffany Owen says, I don't know. I don't think joking around would ever call for hitting someone. No, that's very true. I think joking can cross a line. Then also says, no slapping ever. That's just crazy. I do agree with that. Like, it's slap. Like, that's such a, the only thing I think if you're really going to, slap someone is if they are making a situation so intense, they're escalating a situation to something that could get close to violence, that the only call you could have is to kind of get them, out of it. But I mean, if we're talking about work settings, like if we're talking about a professional setting, then just leave, just get out of there. Don't like, and that's the thing. None of that was what was going on here. That's not what was going on at all. then how can you say go up there and slap him? That's what I'm saying. I'm saying she should not have gone there and slapped him. It should have been something so terrible. I'm saying if she had cancer, then it would have been forgivable, but still bad. Still really bad. Being where your parents, you should never put your hands on anyone. My parents are fine. Ty Ranger, do you think the look set Will off? I think that's what we all think is going on here. Like, I think behind, in terms of us all talking about what's really going on, I think everyone's kind of like, maybe you should leave Jada Pinkett Smith. Maybe she is not a good partner for you. I mean, I had no idea about this whole entanglement that had been going on behind the scenes. Like, it is, they seem to have a pretty embarrassing relationship. I can say that. I'm not married. I don't know the most about relationships. There are so many people that could school me about relationships. But they don't seem to be a great couple. I think she did set him off. And at that one, I feel like it might have been best if he just kind of goes, hey, we're fine. You'll take the joke. I'm about to get an Oscar. I'm not going to jeopardize my career by going up there and slapping the shit out of a guy. Well, look, we've gone on about 40 minutes now. Okay. Thank you, everyone that has been watching. Please subscribe. We're almost at 500. We are almost at 500 subscribers. Please share this. Please also feel free to subscribe to the Patreon. It's $5 a month. We put extra content up there every single week. We put a new episode up today. Tiffany Owens will end with this one. Do you hear Ricky Gervais said he would have made a joke about Jada's boyfriend? What if that had happened? That would have been incredible. He put on Twitter a video from the office where he walks around going, did you hear that one of our coworkers' wives has alopecia? So not a happy home life. Hilarious. Ricky Gervais is the legend. I have 500 subscribers right now. Did I really pass it? Well, maybe this live stream did it. Well, look, thank you everyone so much. Really appreciate you guys taking the time to hang out. The more news that breaks, I will go ahead and continue to do some live streams that kind of breaks down what's going on. Other than that, we have news videos coming out here. Just put out a video about the Batman to review the newest Batman movie. Thank you all again. Have a great rest of your Friday night. And if you have not done so already, please subscribe to 5 Minute Critic for future updates on reviews and movie news.